Good morning everybody, I hope you're having a good day so far. This feels a little strange to me. I've got a cup of tea in my hand today. If you watch me on any of the channels, you'll know that I'm much more usually with a cup of whiskey in my hand, but I'm doing something fun today and I thought I'd create a sort of slightly different style video. I'm going to Harrods, which, if you don't know, it's one of the most luxury department stores in London, and they happen to have a pretty good whiskey/spirit station, and I thought you might be interested if I would take you along. The last time I was there was a while ago, but I remember them having some pretty good sort of what I would call drinking price bottles, as well as of course some of the more beautiful, more luxury, very expensive bottles that are more likely being bought sort of for investment purposes than drinking purposes. But I don't know what they're going to have today, so let's go to Harrods and see what it's like. So if you didn't know, Harrods is one of the largest department stores in Europe. It's very well known for its luxury, and I'd consider it very quintessentially British. A little fun fact about Harrods is that the first escalator installed in London was installed in Harrods. Anyway, the spirit section is one floor below ground level, so I made my way straight there. The first thing you're faced with is the Hennessy boutique, including this absolutely stunning artist display featuring some really rare editions. Once you walk through into the main area, the first thing you'll see is tequila. I have to say, there wasn't a huge array of options here. The thing about Harrods is they'll have big names, so you'll see the obvious 818s and the Clase Azul, but you won't necessarily see a lot of small bottlers. And that's not me bashing the big names at all, don't get me wrong, I was really enjoying admiring these Clase Azul bottles. I'm just saying that if you're looking for more niche bottles that you haven't heard before, Harrods is probably not going to be the place for you. This Resol tequila did catch my eye though, and I love the bottle. The rum section was even smaller than the tequila section. I actually don't own a lot of rum, and it's a category I'm looking to explore more, so if you have any recommendations for me, I'd love to hear them in the comments. Now the cognac section, again, it's not huge. I was admiring this bottle, which I'm not going to try and pronounce because I will butcher the name. This showroom is definitely mainly focused on whiskey, but it was still interesting to see the cognac selection before heading over to the bourbon. Now in terms of drinking bottles, the selection was pretty standard. In true Harrods fashion though, they do have these really pretty cool family reserve bottles from Pappy Van Winkle. Next you come to an area where there are small sections focused on one brand each, starting with Delmore. Just look at the colour of the liquid of this Delmore 30-year-old. I know some of you are going to say it's added colour, but let a girl enjoy herself. Glenfiddich stand had this really cool thing where you could smell individual ingredients that appear a lot in their tasting note. It took me a second to realise that you had to take the lid off in order to smell the ingredient, but once I had that figured out, it was actually really interesting to smell all the different aromas. I've seen Macallan do a similar thing in their shops before. I actually find this kind of thing really useful. It's a good reminder of different aromas, and it can help you pick them out when you next smell the whiskey. If you ever see this kind of thing in a whiskey shop, I actually would really recommend you give it a go. I think things like this get ignored a lot because people think they're just gimmicky, but I find it really useful anyway. Next, on to Japan with House of Suntory. On a side note, I'm thinking to start a series about different Japanese whiskies, so this was a good reminder of some of the big brands. One that's high on my list and will probably be one of my next purchases is the Hibiki Harmony. I didn't buy it here though because there's definitely a Harrods tax attached to the price. I was also really intrigued by this Haku vodka. I've never actually tried Japanese vodka before. I do think this Hakusha from the Takuriwake collection looks awesome. A girl can dream. There was actually a pretty big selection of high-end Japanese bottles. It wouldn't be Harrods without Macallan, and unsurprisingly, the stand was amazing. They had all the standard bottles from their core range that you'd expect to see, but also quite a few of their very rare and collectible bottles. Macallan 50-year-old, I'll take a casual 3 of them please. You might recognise this one, it's the one they released for their 200th anniversary, and I don't know how clearly you can see, but that bottle on the left would set you back 59,000 Great British pounds. After you've passed all the individual stalls, you come to one more shelf solely of Macallan, and then some more generalised whiskey shelving, which is arranged by flavour profile. I don't know how well I captured this, but there was vanilla spice, fruit and nut, dried fruit, and smoke. If you're on the lookout for a bottle that's really well balanced with a nice sweetness running through it, I'd really recommend this Balvenie Sweet Toast of American Oak. It's a really great bottle. Here was the fruit and nut section. That Tomatin 50 just looks incredible, as does this Balvenie, also a 50-year-old. I thought that the spice spiral box of this was a really cool touch too. You might know that I love a good Delmore bottle. I've tried a couple from their Aston Martin collabs, but never this 22-year-old. I have the 18 on my shelf and I might treat myself to the 22-year-old at some point in the future. Anyway, this was the gin section. I'm a big fan of Lake's Whisky and I've never tried their gin, but I feel like it would be really good. There was a small section for Beiju, which is a traditional Chinese spirit made from fermented grains. And the final part of the spirit section is a Louis XIII exhibit. It's pretty much a room filled with Louis XIII cognac bottles and this model of Harrods with mini Louis XIII bottles, which I thought was really awesome. All in all, I'd say that was a pretty fun trip.
Hey everyone, it's currently the next day. I'm walking Nala at the moment and I realised I didn't get a chance to give you my final thoughts on the Harrods spirit selection. Harrods is a really cool place if you're looking for some more rare bottles, expensive bottles, collectible bottles. They definitely have one of the best selections in London. But if you're after drinking bottles, it's probably not going to be for you. Everything that you buy in Harrods is going to be more expensive than anywhere else you buy it from. I'd also say that out of all the spirits, the whiskey is the only section that is really comprehensive. They don't have a huge selection of rum or tequila or gin or anything like that. But it was a fun day out anyway. Let me know if you want more videos like this because I am more than happy to oblige. Follow for more.